Good day and welcome to our Sunday reflection for the 32nd Sunday of the year B. The theme of our reflection is the tale of three widows. A government social worker was visiting farms in New England following a severe drought. He had the authority to allocate federal funds to assist struggling farmers. During his visit, he encountered an elderly widow tending to a few acres of land. While her house was clean, it was pretty small and appeared to contain little food. The windows lacked screens to keep out the summer flies, and the exterior needed a fresh coat of paint. He wondered how she managed to survive. He asked her, "What will you do if the government provided you with $500? She immediately replied, "I'll give it to the poor." The official, who could hardly believe his ears, repeated the question. She firmly responded, "Are you hard of hearing? I told you that I will give it to the poor." We have just heard the story of two widows willing to part with their meager resources by giving everything away. The first widow used her last flour and oil to bake a scone for Elijah, while the widow in the gospel gave all she had to live on. This woman must have discovered something many of us struggle with, allowing them to embrace radical generosity. The truth is that we all give, but not everyone exemplifies true generosity. This distinction becomes clear when we reflect on the various forms of giving, as Jesus alluded to in the gospel. The first type is grudge giving. I dislike parting with my $20, but I feel obligated to donate it. The second type is shame giving. I must match whatever the Joneses contribute. The third form is calculated giving, where we make donations with the expectations of receiving future favors. It's akin to playing the lottery with God. The final category, characteristics of truly generous individuals, is thanksgiving. I willingly part with my funds precisely because God has been generous to me. Unlike the wealthy donors in the gospel, the widows exemplify this kind of giving. What inspired their thanksgiving? Widows are part of a group in the Bible known as the Anawin, or Holy Remnant. Their challenges had purified them, leading them to a deep understanding that God was their sole source of dependence. It is this profound trust in God that inspired their generosity. In contrast, many of us struggle with this level of trust, as noted by Beth Borodi in her article, Fear of Generosity. We have been conditioned to look out for ourselves, to make sure I'm taken care of, then my family, then my friends, then maybe one of those children on TV, or that homeless man I walked past on the way to work. We've also been conditioned to think that if we give, we have to give a lot, and we have to make a profound impact, or else it's not really worth it. We have been trained to be afraid of generosity because we have responsibilities and obligations. And if we give, then we make it harder for ourselves to be happy, and we are putting ourselves at risks. End of quote. The fear of generosity often stems from a scarcity mentality, which can hinder us from recognizing that God cares for us even in times of need. What kind of giver are you? Do you contribute from your abundance or give of yourself? Today, Jesus invites us to embrace something far more profound. Instead of participating in annual fundraising events or making the customary charitable contributions associated with our faith, Jesus calls us to offer our entire selves. Rather than merely writing a check which does not compare to a tip at a restaurant, Jesus desires us wholly without reservation. Let us reframe our perspective on generosity. First, we must remember that all we have and are belong to God, and we are mere stewards. St. Paul challenges us in 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7. For who makes you so special? And what do you have that you did not receive? But if you did receive it, why do you boast as if you have not received it? We must also remind ourselves daily that by being generous to others, we are ultimately being generous to ourselves. By helping those in need, we cultivate happiness and joy that enrich our lives. Nothing is lost in authentic generosity. Instead, everything multiplies. I invite you to do the following challenges this week. First, consider your donations to your parish or charities and determine if you are indulging in grudge giving, shame giving, calculated giving, or thanksgiving. Second, examine your time and talent and see if you can take on a ministry within the parish or volunteer somewhere else. Have a blessed week.